The very first principle that we have to look at in pricing your jobs profitably is determining your break-even margin. The second thing that we want to look at is determining what your profit break-even is. Now, what's the difference? Break-even margin, again, we're going to bring the formula up in a second. Break-even margin is being able to put the right percentage on your quote so that you know you're covering your overhead expenses. Now, what are overhead expenses? And why am I talking overhead expenses? Overhead expenses, guys, is, having this TV on takes what? Takes hydro, obviously, right? It takes electricity. You got to pay for that. There are fixed costs that you have to pay whether or not you get a job or not, right? There's the hydro, there's the bell, right? There's any leases that you have, any salaries, anything, just to keep it simple. Anything that is not directly related to doing the work, okay? So think about, your rent, things of that nature, and think about, and a lot of people get this wrong, so I just want to be clear about this. Take anything that has to do with doing the job, the labor, the material, take that right out of the picture. And just think to yourself, what are the things I'd have to pay for whether I got it, we landed a job or not? Those are your fixed expenses, okay? Hopefully that helps. Now, it's important that you recognize what those are, especially because of the formula, okay? So here we go, guys. Here we go. We're going to do a little bit of math, okay? And then I'm going to bring up a little bit of an example so you guys can really get this. So, your fixed expenses, okay, are like I said, they got to be paid for. Now, the break-even margin formula, maybe I'll actually just pull this up. I'll use a little bit of magic sauce with my magic wand, okay? Like I said, guys, it's going to be interactive. So you guys want to write down this formula, okay? So break-even margin is equal to, again, it's a formula, is equal to what? Your fixed expenses, like we just talked about, okay, divided by what? Your sales. Now, why does it work that way? Because we're looking to find out what is the percentage, what is the break-even percentage that we've got to put in our quotes to ensure that we're covering off all those expenses that we got to pay for regardless of us getting a job. So in this example, right, what we're looking at, guys, in this example, we're putting some numbers into it. We have $250K of fixed expenses, right? Some people call them overhead expenses. Don't get freaking confused by it. You can call it overhead or fixed. Basically, like I said, they're the expenses that you got to pay whether you get work or not, okay? So in this company's example, $250K, okay, in fixed expenses. Their estimated annual sales is $1 million. Now, here's a little caveat that you want to be clear on. You want to make sure that when we're looking at this, guys, that you're using the same time frame. So in this case, right, we looked at 12 months. We looked at 12 months. Sounds obvious, but I gotta say it, okay? You don't want to use 12 months versus 6 months. You want to use the same period of time. So you can figure out your break-even margin on a monthly basis or yearly. I like to use yearly. I'm going to tell you why. And by the way, start thinking about what are your fixed expenses from an annual basis. Start thinking about what is your sales from an annual basis. Because remember I said I'm going to bring this home. I'm going to help you guys in determining what your break-even margin is tonight. We're going to do it in just a second. I use annual because you guys know and I know, a lot of people that aren't in the trades, they wouldn't get this, right? A tradesperson is sort of like my dad and my parents, right? Farmers, right? There's different seasons, right? They got the spring, the fall, the winter. There's different cycles. There's times when things are busier, times when things are slower. Every trade has got a little tiny dip. Some have got really big dips. So if you look at 12 months, what it does is it prevents you from getting tricked into one of those cycles, right? And it takes the average. So to start off with, use averages. Now, for tonight, I didn't ask you to bring your profit and loss statement. I didn't ask you to bring your financials. We're going to rough it tonight, okay? Just get a gauge. So I want you guys to figure out what yours is. Now, in this case, like I said, at $250K fixed expenses, divided by $1 million in sales, their break-even margin is 25%. That means if they put 25% on their quotes, they wouldn't make any money. But here's the good news. From a quoting perspective, they wouldn't lose any money. Okay, that's good to know. You need to know that would be back to the pricing for profits calculator. That would be the red zone. Okay, we do not want to quote at that level because you know you're not making any money. Okay, now with that being said, I want you guys to type in what you think. Using this formula, this break-even formula. What are some of the break-even margins that you guys have? Let's get them up here on the screen. Okay, so let's get some ideas. So Jordan, what do we got? We got some people here typing in what theirs is.
Yeah, we got Michael saying 15%.
Yeah.
Jason says 32%.
Okay, Jay says 32.
We got Chris saying 34.
Okay, that's good. I think that's good enough unless you got one more. I know lots of people are typing in right now, but let's just say this is good enough. Everybody on this call, I want you to see. Literally see with your eyes. You imagine sitting down at a coffee shop, or I'm sitting down at my coffee shop, or you guys are sitting down at the coffee shop, or you're having a few beers with your buddies, they're contractors. And they go, yeah, man. Yeah. My I'm able to, quote jobs at 15 points. Interesting. So all of these numbers are different. They're all different. This is why you need to figure out your break-even margin for your company, because they are different. Because your fixed costs and your sales are going to be different. So do not sit at a table with contractors and take somebody's number and use it. If Chris ended up using who was the M? Martin, or who was?
We got Michael.
Okay, sorry, Michael. Okay, so I should remember that because that's a good name because my son's name is Michael. So we're just gonna go Mike. Okay, the Mikester, the Mikeinator. Okay, so Saturday Night Live. Sorry, guys. So we take a look at Mike, right? If Chris used Mike's number, what would happen? Chris, you go bankrupt, right? Yeah. So guys, this is super important to know, right? Now there is another number that we need to figure out. We talked about our profit break even. So, hey Andrew, how the hell would you calculate your profit break even? I mean, if this is just my break even to cover my costs, how would I go and figure out what my, what to put on my quotes to make a profit? That's a great question, right? That's a really good question. If you haven't thought of that question, you need to think about it right now, okay? So it's really, really simple, okay? Really simple. So if we go here, guys, remember we had $250K divided by $1 million in sales, right? Break-even margin for this company was 25%. Well, guess what? Let's just say we had $250K. These were fixed expenses divided by $1 million, which gave us what? A break-even margin, I'm putting it in red, of 25%. We want to make money, so what do? Super simple, guys. Super, super, super simple. Say, for example, this contractor wanted to make, let's say, $100,000. So what would you do? You take 250, and we're going to add what? We want to make 100K. So you add that to the top, guys. What's the number now? 35%. So if they put 35% on their jobs, guys, guess what? They're going to be on track to be making $100,000 a year, okay? Guys, it's as simple as that, okay? It's as simple as that. Now, again, that's going to be different for all of you. Maybe some of you guys only want 50. Maybe some of you guys want more than that, okay? Now, you're obviously going to have to consider, which is a different conversation and a different genius model. Is this a number that you can work with, okay? So you have to be able to be competitive, obviously, but putting competitive off to the side for a second, you've got to make sure that you're quoting your jobs properly, okay? So guys, when we're looking at this, we talked about break even. We just figured that out, okay? It's going to be different for all of you. We figured out your profit break even, okay? Now what we got to do is we got to figure out what? We got to figure out that there's a difference between margin and markup, okay, guys? Now I know we covered off a lot of things, but there's a big difference between margin and markup. I want to use an actual example. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to apply. Imagine we got this contracting company, okay? Picture we got this contracting company, and this contracting company has this job, okay? And the expenses on that job, material, labor, okay, all the expenses on that job equals $2,000. Okay, so this is the cost. That is the cost. That's the cost to you. Picture that, okay? $2,000. And we want to make 25%. So we've done our break-even margin. We figured out what our profit break-even is. Let's just say, for example, our break-even margin was like 18 points or 15 points, and we want to make an extra 10. So now we're going to put 25% on it. So we want to make over here. We want to make 25% margin. That's our goal. Okay. So here we go. The cost of doing the job, which, like I said, includes labor, includes material, okay, is $2,000. Okay. Here's my question to you. I want to make sure you guys get this. What is your sales price? What would be the price that you would put on the quote to the client if you were to, in this case, put 25% margin on? Okay. I'm going to give you guys like 15 seconds or so. I want you to think about this. Start typing it into your calculator. Use your phone. Use a calculator. Whatever. Again, as people are figuring it out, I'll just reiterate. The cost to do the job is $2,000. What would be our sales price if we wanted to put 25% on it? Okay. Are we getting any responses here, Jordan?
Yep, we got Tyler says 2,500.
Okay, let me just put some numbers here. Okay, let's see. So Tyler says
2,500.
yeah.
And we've got Derek says 2,350.
Derek says 2,350. Yeah.
And we got Anthony says 2,250.
Anthony says 2,250. Yeah.
Jason says 2,700.
Jay says 2,700. Yeah.
Oh, he also just said 2,666.
So who said 2,666?
Jason just said again.
Okay, so he went 2,666. Okay. Everybody ready? I'm serious. This is huge. This is huge. Sorry, Anthony. Yeah. Sorry, Derek. Yeah. Sorry, Tyler. Isn't it funny? We've only taken 4 people's responses, and let's just look at this, right? 4 people's responses. Let's take a look at yours. The only person that got it right is you, Jay. So, look, guys, Jay is the only one that got it right. Now, I want you to grasp that for a second. Jay is the only one that got the number right. So, there's people on this call. And you can see Jay's number is the highest number out of all of you. So that means that everybody else that put a price on here, that worked through this, guys, means you would have not been making the margin that you wanted, okay? So let's just work out what we did. Now this is a formula. Just take it, go with it, okay? I can explain it another day, but you've got to start using this formula right away, okay? The formula is this right here. It is your cost. The $2,000 divided by 1 minus the percentage that you want to make. This percentage over here, guys. So let's put this into practical terms, okay? Very simply, guys. It's $2,000, right? That was the cost, with 1 minus 0.25, which, guys, is going to equate to what? 0.75. 0.75 is going to give us the amount of profit that we want. And what's that come out to? 2,666. Everybody else would have been losing money on this job. Everybody else, maybe not necessarily losing money, but you wouldn't have been making the 25% margin that you wanted, okay? Most people, what they do is they take the 2,000, and if I said, hey, let's make 25%, they multiply this by 1.25. That is a fatal error. You are losing, I guarantee you, between 7 and 9+%, could be even more, okay, guys? So get this right. You need to know your margin and markup. So here we go. You just learned about break even. You learned about profit break even. You learned about margin versus markup in the pillar of pricing for profitably. Are you red? Do you not have these things? If you don't know what your break even margin is, any of you guys that typed in the wrong number there, guys, means that this is in the red. Okay? Now, if you're in the yellow, that means basically that you've got some of these things working. Maybe it's working for you, but not working for your team. Your team couldn't do it without you. If you're in the green, you got this thing nailed, okay? Now, here's the reality. Most contractors, 90% of contractors, do not have this. Okay, they're not doing this right. Okay, so guys, get this right. You've got to get this right. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section. But if you get this wrong and you don't turn the red or the yellow into green, everything else that we talk about here tonight is not going to help you. Okay, so good on you for being honest with yourself. Okay, let's keep rolling. Secret number 2: time's got to be profitable, guys. You're on this call tonight. Okay. Hopefully, you've realized that your time has been profitable already tonight because you learned that you're not pricing your jobs profitably, okay, with the right formula and the right math, okay? So let's figure out how to make sure our time is profitable. We got to figure out how do we get rid of the tire kickers so we're not wasting our time quoting. You know, like Joe, back when I talked about Joe earlier, I'll just repeat this. He was putting in 20 hours a week before he came across applying this, okay? And within a quick little chat, we were able to address his issues. But here's the first thing that we had to look at with Joe, okay? And all the other contractors out there. You've got to be able to filter fast, guys, okay? What is filtering fast? When the phone rings, when that email comes in, when the text comes in, and somebody's saying, hey man, I need you to price a job for me. If you don't have a system for filtering fast to know who's the tire kickers, who's my Class A clients, who's the people trying to use me as a bank, then guess what? You're going to get whatever the hell the world gives you. And that usually is not being profitable. Usually it's chaos, it's people that don't respect you or your team, okay? So how do you go about doing that, guys? You've got to have some sort of scoring analysis. This is called the client rating matrix. Now, why does it say client? Why does it not say prospect? I'll tell you. You need to deal with the people that you're working with right now first before you look at any new opportunities. Also, you're going to have, the information that you're going to have is going to be 10x on the people that you engage with versus the people that you haven't. So we've got to determine right away, we've got to fire, these people that are leeches that take up our time. So you might want to write this down. I've got like 4 different levels of clients. Here we go. Class A, they're awesome. I mean, they really respect us. They pay their bills. They pay us what we're worth. They don't penny pinch, right? And they take care of us, right? They refer Class A clients to us. Then there's the Class B, number 2. There's the basic. They're like okay to deal with, okay? But they're not great. Then there's the Class C. These guys you got to get rid of. They are the people you can't deal with. They're the people that your team can't deal with. They waste all your time. You show up. Imagine, hey, you know what I'm talking about, right? I experience this all the time. You show up to the job site. The guy goes, yeah, man, everything's ready. Your crews go out there, and guess what? Nothing's freaking ready, right? Like, that's a Class C can't deal with person. Then there's the worst, right? The thieves, the Class D deadbeats. They are out to use you as a bank and not pay you. So, guys, we got to stop this right away. So, you got to filter fast. You've got to have a scoring analysis, and it's not just about profits and payment. There's like 8 other categories you guys want to get insights on, and I'm going to tell you right now. Within about, I'm not joking, within about 10 minutes, you can quickly start identifying the people that you got to keep on your list of Class A clients, and you're going to know quickly who you got to start firing, okay? It's not complicated. Anybody can do it. So make sure you get your hands on the client rating matrix, okay? The client rating matrix, provides letters, done for you letters on, what to say to the Class A's, because guess what? The Class A's, guys, need to be treated well. Last little point about the Class D deadbeats is Class D deadbeats take up all the time so that you're not being able to put your time on the Class A clients. And guess what tends to happen? The more Class D clients that come onto your accounts receivable list that your team has to deal with means the less Class A clients you have, because guess what happens? Class A clients start getting neglected because you're putting all your time into putting out fires. So guys, make sure you get that. Because here's the reality. At the end of the day, your cash flow, this is a key principle. Your cash flow and profits, okay, follow your calendar. If your calendar and your team's calendar is filled with a whole bunch of Class D deadbeats and can't deal with, guess what? Guess what's going to be in your bank account? Yeah, debt, okay? No money, okay? If it's filled with Class A's and Class B's, or Class B's becoming Class A's, guess what? You're going to have a happy team. You're going to have a happy bank account. You're probably going to have a happy, life back home, with the wife or family, because you're going to be making money, right? So make sure, guys, that you're putting your time in on things that make you money. If you look back, just really quickly, you look back at last week. Did you waste time, or last month, did you waste time on tire kicking freaking people that are just looking for a price check, that that you've been doing work for and really watching your team put in all this energy and effort, and meanwhile these people aren't even going to pay you? If that's the case, you need this right away. Okay, guys? Look, you're not alone. Great guy, Ron and his son. He within 2 weeks of using that tool and applying that principle, guys, 15 hours a week back. 15 hours a week back. Could you land a Class A client with 15 hours? Fucking hell yeah, of course you could. His profits went up by 18%. Now guess what? His profits went up 18%. Not just because he landed another couple Class A clients, because he got rid of the leeches that were not paying him, okay? Your lowest amount of profitability ever is doing work and people not paying you because they're basically robbing you, right? Okay? So, look guys, it can happen really quick and it's got to happen for you. So let's keep rocking and rolling here. Second area that we got to focus in on and making sure your time is profitable is you got to bucketize. What's bucketize? Think about it. Buckets, right? You've got to have buckets, guys, 1, 2, and 3 buckets, okay, to ensure that you're not putting the same amount of time on all the jobs you're pricing. There are 3 types of ways of pricing a job, okay? There's a guesstimate, which means it's somebody that's looking for work. It's, maybe a month, maybe 2, maybe 6 months out, okay? That's just an example. Usually it's time-based, where they're just looking for a ballpark figure, okay? You need to bucketize those, otherwise, guys, you're going to spend dozens and dozens of hours when you didn't need to, okay? An estimate is about 60% less time than, doing a detailed quote, okay? An estimate, it does require some accuracy, but it's not that precision, right? It's an estimate. Look at the word. As a matter of fact, we've actually gotten a lot of our clients to just put on their pricing, instead of calling it even a quote, they call it an estimate. Why? Because from a legal perspective, it's going to be different in every place, but there's been cases where this has been held up in a court of law because this has been an estimate. It didn't say an exact quote. So think about protecting yourself. Think about saving your time. Detailed quotes should only be the jobs where you are very, very confident that you're going to win them, okay? Because then they're worthy of your time, all right, guys? So make sure you bucketize, okay? Make sure you put the time in where you need to put it. Another way of looking at this is like a deck of cards, right? You don't just go and, I was talking with a client there just the other day, this is just about 2 weeks ago, and he's been saving, I think, 13 hours a week just with this one strategy. So I told him, I said, instead of bucketizing, how about we look at it as a deck of cards? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, when do you quote your jobs? Well, as soon as somebody requests a quote. Stop that right now, guys, okay? You see, when you put in your default calendar, remember we talked about that? When to do quotes, maybe 2 times, 3 times a week, here's what happens. You start building up a request for quote, request for quote, request for quote. Next thing you know, you got maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 quotes that have been requested. Well, you know what the nice part of that is? It's like playing poker, right? You get to look at these now and go, hey, which ones do I actually want to quote? Okay, because you have something to compare to. Oh, I got an ace, got another ace. I got a king. Oh, I got a 2. Oh, I got a 3. Yeah, I'm only going to focus in on these. Guys, make sure you bucketize, otherwise known as use the deck of cards, okay, approach to save yourself time and energy, all right? I told you guys you're going to get some value tonight that you could apply. You can apply that starting tonight, okay? Default in your calendar, okay? Make sure you're bucketized. Make sure your time is profitable. Next, you've got to start charging for quoting, okay? Guys, there is such an easy way to start charging for quoting. And part of doing that is really using what's called that break-even margin, okay? We want to be able to use the break-even margin formula. If you're interested in finding out more about how to do that, you can definitely allocate the amount of time that you spend quoting into as a factor, as a percentage into your quotes, okay? Because let's face it, Your time is valuable, your team's time is valuable, and if you're not charging for the time that you quote, you're not respecting the value of your time. All right, guys? So, again, this just doesn't work for Debbie and Joe, for Johnny, for other people. This works for people that are willing to take action. So here's Gaten, 2018 or 2017 to January 22nd versus April 2018, same period in time, just different year. Went from $2 million to $2.8 million, okay? From 28% to 55% gross profit. From only making, this is the one right here, only making 10K net to making 468K net. Imagine that. And here's the best part. Oh, by the way, gang, we did it with the same staff size and even reduced our cost of goods by over 10%. It's possible, okay? This is an installation company, okay? Johnny's is a building company. When I look at Debbie and Joe, they're an electrical contracting company. What's the point? Guys, it works for any type of contractor that you are tonight, okay? So, we just covered off time. It's got to be profitable. So let's do what we got to do. We got to audit it. Are you red? Type in a red. If you're not ensuring that all the time that you put in is profitable by filtering fast, bucketizing, charging for quoting, guys, then you're red. You're yellow. If you got some of these things, like I said, that you're able to do it, but your team's not able to do it without you, then you're yellow, okay? You're green if you've got this nailed. If this can be done and is being done, you're optimizing your calendar, your team is optimizing their calendar, and you've got it nailed. If you've made it this far in your contracting business, in not having these things, even before we get to here, predicting profits, imagine where you're going to be when you're able to apply these things, right? So that you can turn these yellows and these reds into yellows and yellows into greens, okay? You can do it. Anybody can do it, okay? You want to understand that you're so not alone. Majority of people on this call are in the red or the yellow, right? So don't feel bad. There's an opportunity here. So how many people would be interested in getting some of that same help, complimentary, that Debbie and Joe, John, and thousands of other contractors have gotten, to get the insights to know that, to sort of be held step by step through these different areas to help you guys turn these reds into yellows into greens. Anybody interested in that?
Yeah, we got a few yeses here.
Awesome. Okay. So what I'd like to do, guys, offer this up to you. What Debbie and Joe, what they all did, again, along these thousands of other contractors, is they had the quick little call, a calibration call. Now, why do I call it a calibration call? Because look, you've gotten this far in your contracting business. You're on this call. You're still in business. Now, that could be things are rough, things are okay, things are great, but you've gotten this far. That means there are some things that are working. So the first thing we want to do is not change everything. We want to calibrate. We just want to tweak. What this call is all about, I'm going to put it up there. Jordan, maybe you can put it up there as far as the calibration call. Cool. We're going to get you clear on those two pillars, what we just covered off. We're going to get you 12-month vision. We're going to help you get over these roadblocks by getting you to have clarity of the reality in more depth, leveraging the genius model you just filled in tonight. Number 3, you're going to create a 3-step plan, not a 20-step, 3-step, right? To get you guys more money, more freedom, and more control. Okay. And the bonus. Here's the bonus. You're going to leave confident that there are solutions to your biggest challenges specific to you. So if you guys are in for that, you can just click on the button. I'm going to keep moving forward. So the next thing, last secret, okay, it's the last, but it's not the least important. Okay, secret number 3.